Welcome back to Views with Hughes, Agenda Free News. This is Jerome Hughes. Now, let's go ahead and get right into it. Sorry about the tongue twister, by the way. Disney, under Bob Iger's leadership, is desperately trying to go ahead and market the upcoming Rachel Zegler Snow White movie, thinking that they can still salvage some revenue from it, but I don't see that happening at all, okay? Especially now that the first official teaser trailer of the Rachel Zegler Snow White movie dropped, and it's being absolutely raked across the coals. And before we get into it, please like and subscribe and share the video far across everywhere, okay? So this Rachel Zegler Snow White movie has been a source of controversy for years, okay, from the questionable casting choices to some downright bizarre decisions about these key characters like the dwarves. And it seems like Bob Iger and Disney are stripping away everything that made Snow White unique, you know, turning this Rachel Zegler Snow White into some sort of generic fairy tale with the forced modern message of wokeism. Now, Bob Iger and Disney are not focusing on the romance anymore because, well, simply put, according to Rachel Zegler, the prince was a creep in the original story, calling weird. And then there's also Gal Gadot, who's the evil queen, who was supposed to be jealous of Snow White's beauty. Yeah, I can't see that happening here. But now that Rachel Zegler Snow White trailer is out, people are roasting Rachel Zegler Snow White left and right. And I'm not gonna sit through the whole trailer and everything because I got that showed on the other screen. But I have to say this: it's an odd direction for Bob Iger and Disney to take. Unlike their previous live action adaptations, this Rachel Zegler Snow White seems to be going for a bit of a darker tone, okay? And the scenes in the Rachel Zegler Snow White movie that, should evoke a sense of wonder instead of come off as creepy, probably because everything looks so fake. Okay, now dressed in the CGI, even the trees and grass look artificial, and maybe that's the real issue. Everything about this Rachel Zegler Snow White movie, simply put, just basically feels like inauthentic and disconnected from the original animated classic. All right, and then there's also the casting in the Rachel Zegler movie itself, the Rachel Zegler Snow White movie, and simply put, the major issue with the Rachel Zegler Snow White movie, well, and the trailer itself just highlights the problem even further. You see, the evil queen is supposed to be jealous of Snow White because Snow White is the fairest of them all. And the queen wants to eliminate her to claim that title. But Gal Gadot, let's be real, is way prettier than Rachel Zegler. And I'm not saying that Rachel Zegler is the ugliest actress out there, but Rachel Zegler just doesn't fit the iconic role of Snow White. Now, in the trailer, we get a taste of her singing voice, and it doesn't match the character at all. Snow White's voice in the original was high pitched, almost annoyingly so, but it was also very feminine. But Rachel Zegler couldn't even alter her tone to fit this movie, and it just feels wrong. And I think this is making Snow White masculine. But let's not forget about the dwarves in Rachel Zegler Snow White movie, where we've known for a while that Bob Iger and Disney were redesigning them, and now for a third time, Bob Iger and Disney changed their look again. And initially, we saw the dwarves from the Rachel Zegler Snow White photos a while back as regular people dressed in terrible outfits, and then there was that one disturbing image of Rachel Zegler Snow White surrounded by dwarves who were as tall as she was. Now, they've shrunk them down and redesigned them in full CGI. This is all because of Peter Dinklage, who complained about the traditional depiction was being offensive. And of course, Bob Iger and Disney bent the knee to Peter Dinklage, costing many similar actors their jobs. Instead of just, casting actors who fit the original descriptions, they decided to go ahead and make it alter regular sized people that digitally, which was a terrible decision. And just one more example of how everything surrounding the Rachel Zegler Snow White movie has been a disaster. Okay, but let's be real here. The reception to this Rachel Zegler Snow White trailer isn't looking good for Bob Iger and Disney. Yes, the trailer is trending at number 2 with the over 3 million views, but it has 41,000 likes against a whopping 100,000 dislikes in just a half an hour. That number jumped up to 130,000 dislikes, closing in on the 200,000 mark, with over 9,000 comments from people saying there's no way Rachel Zegler Snow White movie is going to be a success. And judging by what we've seen and what's been said, I'm gonna have to agree with them. Rachel Zegler herself said that the prince was a creep and that the focus wouldn't be on romance anymore. Instead, Snow White is supposed to be this independent boss babe woman saving her kingdom and focusing on herself. That's just not what comes to mind when I think of Snow White, and any of us also. And they've proven us right. This is going to be a complete disaster and dumpster fire, okay? But let's be real. People are making all sorts of snide remarks like the evil queen who is the fairest of them all. Mirror, you, my queen, and the end. And there's just no reason for the evil queen to be jealous of Rachel Zegler Snow White. And I'm not the only one who thinks her costume looks like something basically snapped together at the last minute for, a fake Disney movie. And this has been an issue with nearly all of Bob Iger and Disney live action adaptations. Now, a lot of people grew up watching these classic princess movies, and some of the dresses in the originals were stunning, even though they were animated. Some people say that Cinderella's live action dress was great, but with the exception. But Belle's lack of beautiful shimmering dress for Ariel at the end of Little Mermaid movie just didn't capture the Disney magic. Now, these woke reimaginings are like a cheap knockoffs and aren't even going to draw people into theaters. But for years, people have been telling Bob Iger and Disney what we want, and it's clear that they're still not listening. Bob Iger and Disney are going to lose money on this, and the rumor is that the budget is over $300 million, meaning they need to make double that to even break even. They're probably going to hope for at least $700 million from what I heard, but I don't see that happening at all. But yeah, some of these live action adaptations have made some money, but I don't think this one will. And given all the controversy, for years, and people are also joking that Bambi is going to make a cameo in this multiverse movie, as they call it, and the comments are mostly negative, and it's hard to find anyone who thinks that this Rachel Zegler Snow White movie is going to be amazing. And if you do think this trailer looks awesome and you're excited for the movie, hey, that's fine, but I hope you enjoy it, because I want people to enjoy the content but this, for me, doesn't look or feel like Snow White at all. And clearly I'm not alone. It's like a lot of people dislike it. Over 141,000 dislike the trailer, and it's being roasted all across social media. All right. But from what I've seen and heard, I think the Rachel Zegler Snow White movie just might be the last of the woke movies that's been planned for years now. It's been created years ago, where Bob Iger is going to be pushing it out, and if Bob Iger really means what he says about, steering away from wokeism, making everything least bit political and everything, then hey, that's something we're going to have to see to believe. Okay. But the fact of the matter is, the Rachel Zegler Snow White is, as you all can see, is hated by a lot of people. It's being ratioed. It's not really being reviewed by because it hasn't come out yet. But the fact of the matter is, people have known about this Rachel Zegler Snow White for a long time. People have known about what Rachel Zegler's been saying. They've been seeing what she's saying. They've been seeing how she insulted the fans and everything. And people are not happy with Rachel Zegler at all right now. Okay. But the fact of the matter is, Disney is going to have to take another L for this, because this is all their fault. But let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Also, be sure to include any additional thoughts you might have this particular topic. If you enjoyed what I shared in this video, go ahead and smash like button, share far wide across social media. And if you haven't done so already, and you enjoyed all the content that I put out there, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification, so that way you're notified of future uploads and updates. Till then, peace.